and some of the songs that go along with that, and also the overall the heritage of Tyagaraja Aradhana. Because believe it or not, Tyagaraja 200 years ago knew that we will be celebrating Tyagaraja Aradhana in America. Why? Because he sang America Ghana, right? So he somehow knew that we will be singing here in America, and not just in one place in America. Almost every town in America has Tyagaraja Aradhana in some form or the other. So obviously the man had some, or I shouldn't say had, has extreme importance in all of our lives in some form or the other. Those of us who learn music obviously learn so many of his compositions. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to learn something from this lecture demonstration. So the way that we are going to do is I'm going to give some anecdotes, some important information, and one of these four will sing the song that goes with that particular aspect. So that being said, let's first start with where Tyagaraja was born. Well, I'm controlling this, right? Do you want me to? Right. So Tyagaraja was born. Can I have this to be a little longer so I can be on that side? Maybe when it comes where? Yeah, that just behind you. Okay. So obviously, just by looking at Google Maps like this, it may not make sense to you. This is Tamil Nadu. Tyagaraja was born in Thiruvarur. So Thiruvarur is a small town in Tanjavur district in Tamil Nadu. So what is special about Thiruvarur is that not only Tyagaraja was born, but all the three known as the Sangeeta Trimurti in Carnatic music, they were all born around the same area, not just area, in the same town. In fact, so much so that their houses were like in neighboring streets. So that's Tyagaraja's birthplace. Thiruvarur is also extremely famous for the chariot. In fact, in Tamil there is a saying, if somebody is moving very slow, they would say, Thiruvarur Ther Madri Poriye Abdin. So that means you are walking, you are moving like the Thiruvarur chariot. It's a huge chariot. You can see, I mean, you can probably get a good idea of how tall the Gopuram is. The chariot is almost as tall as the Gopuram. So you can just imagine. And of course, all the people, so that also gives you some perspective on how big it is. So that is his birth town. Those of you who read Telugu, take advantage of it. This is Tyagaraja's horoscope.
Oh, wow.
So when was he born? He was born in 1767, right? This is his horoscope. And he was named after, because he was born in Thiruvarur, the Swami in Thiruvarur temple is Tyagaraja Swami. So his name was Tyaga Brahma. So he was named Tyaga Brahma. And his parents, father was Kakarla Rama Brahman, Kakarla Rama Brahma, and the mother's name was Sitama. So aptly so, as those of you who have learned Sitama Mayama, you know that he necessarily did not use that for his father and mother, but he used it as Rama's family is my family. But anyways, his parents are also Rama Brahman and Sitama. So that also is a nice little coincidence or divine intervention, as you may say. Now he had two brothers, and Tyagaraja was the youngest of the three. The first one was Panchanada Brahman, and the second one was Panchabakesa Brahman. They were both older than him, as I said before. Now, this is the house that Tyagaraja was born in. Obviously, that house does not exist anymore. So some generous soul.
I have gone there.
You have gone there?
And sang Andhra Mahanbhavulu before statue of Tyagaraja.
Oh, nice. In Thiruvarur?
Yes.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, we watched it from outside.
So this house, so they, some generous folks went ahead and renovated the house and made it into more modern. So although they have kind of kept the size of the house the same, you can see that the neighbors have air conditioners sticking out and all that kind of stuff. So kind of lost the charm, but anyways, the house is there now. It's almost like a museum. People can visit, and that's the house in Thiruvarur. While Tyagaraja was born in Thiruvarur, when he was a fairly young child, maybe under 5 years old, his family moved to Thiruvarur. So we have one family here who's from Thiruvarur, so you can talk to them more about whether I said everything correct or not. So Thiruvarur is over there. Why did they move to Thiruvarur? Is because Tyagaraja's father was given a house in Thiruvarur as from the king of Tanjavur. You see, Tanjavur is right here. So Tanjavur's king, because Tyagaraja's grandfather was also a member of the court and was given some gifts and stuff like that. So Tyagaraja's father also received a house in Thiruvarur. So they made a trek. I'm assuming they walked. Maybe they had a bullock cart or something, some cart. But nevertheless, if they had walked, it would have taken them about 16 hours to get there. Because back in the days, it's not like a car comes to your house and you can just get in the truck, right? So that's a lot of travel in that aspect. Okay, we don't know that. All right. So in his childhood, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of getting too many things in. So Tyagaraja, I mean, we all know him as this fantastic musician, poet and everything, but he learned a lot of compositions of Purandaradasa and Ramadasa Kirtanas from his mother. So his mother taught him all of those things. In fact, there are several compositions of Tyagaraja where he takes the name of Purandaradasa, Ramadasa, and a lot of times it is interpreted as Rama's servant, who could be anyone, but we don't know if he really refers to him as the composer Ramadasa, but nevertheless he sang a lot of Ramadasa compositions. His grandfather, Giriraja Kavi, he was also a poet and a composer, and the maternal grandfather was a veena player and a scholar. So it's not as if Tyagaraja got everything out of nowhere. He had that family background to kind of, that nurtured him in that direction. But like everything else, you have to follow up with your own hard work. So he followed it up with his hard work and his own gift, and did a lot more with what he was given. So at the age of 12 to 14, in the time frame, he sang his very first composition. And back in those days, of course this picture is obviously not from then, there used to be a thing called Unchavritti. And those of you who have gotten your Upanayanam, you know that as soon as the ceremony was done, you went and said Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi, right? So that was a very common thing for everybody who was born in that family, in those families, to go from house to house and collect enough grains to last for that one day. As a Brahmin, you're not supposed to have 10 pounds of rice bag in your house, but we all do, right? So that's so even now a lot of the musicians do it on a special day. So this is done on the Tyagaraja Utsavam day, where you can see M.S. Subbalakshmi, there is D.K. Pattamar, and MDR? Yeah, MDR. Chemba is there. I think Chemba is holding the thing. I'm not 100% sure. So some major musicians, so they do it a ceremonial Unchavrutti on Tyagaraja Aradhana day. So after all the Pancharatna is done, people do that. And many places, even if they do like Sita Kalyanam or something like that, they do Unchavrutti. So the first composition, and of course this is purely speculation because it is the kind of composition is a kirtana. So where, and being a young boy, he probably was going around in that with the Unchavrutti and he sang this composition. It's speculation, of course. So this first composition is will be sung by Sharanya.
Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham. 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 Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham.
So for lack of time, we will not be presenting the songs in entirety. This song has so many references to Purana stories and things like that. So if you get a chance, look up the words. Maybe you can ask your music teachers to teach you that song. I mean, very, very significant composition. So in that sense. So Tyagaraja had two music gurus. The first one was Sonti Venkataramanaya. So he, interestingly, Tyagaraja was a young boy, 6-7 years old. He would go to collect flowers from, those days people would go to the neighbor's house and whoever had flowers in their garden, they will bring it and for his father to do puja. So when Tyagaraja did that, he would walk by Venkatamanaya's house. So, he would listen to the songs, he would be collecting flowers there and listen to the lessons and things like that. So one time the guru was asking one of his students some question about what he taught. And the student was not able to answer, but this boy from outside just yelled out the answer. When you're that young, you don't care about, you're not afraid to be embarrassed. So you just yell out your answer. So he yelled out the answer. So the guru was like, oh, who's answering? Here are the people that I've been teaching for so many years. They have not answered. So this is who's answering. So he walks out and he sees this young fellow and is, absolutely astonished. And then he invites him in. And then later on, Tyagaraja starts learning music from him. So as he is growing, so Venkataramanaya is extremely impressed with this boy. So he invites some musicians because they are all court musicians. That's the only way musicians made money or a living those days. So these court musicians, so he obviously had connections to a lot of other musicians. So they all came to his house and Venkataramanaya asked Tyagaraja to sing a song. So this is, a little bit more mature song, but still fairly early in the stages. So he gives like a whole, again, I'll refer to those of you who have had Upanayana. You know how you do Abhivade. So he gives his father's name, grandfather's name and everything. But he also refers to the idea that how blessed I am to be doing this kind of seva, Sangita seva. So in some ways we all are blessed because of Tyagaraja, but Sangita seva. So Mallika will present that composition.
Dora Guna Itova Seva Dora Guna Itova Seva Dora దొరకునా ఎటువంటి సేవ దొరకునా ఎటువంటి సేవ.
So the second name that you see here, thank you, Malika, is Sage Narada. Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you for the reminder. So when Tyagaraja sang this composition, his guru was so impressed. So he actually went ahead and said, Dorakuna ituvandi sishyudu. So what is my blessing that I got a Shishya like you? So that if you have to be a student, have to be a student like that. So that's such a touching story in that situation. The second person that you see here is not really a person. Sage Narada, the Devarishi. So Tyagaraja took him to be his guru also. Almost all musicians do not have just one guru. They have multiple gurus. They kind of progress through as they go through. So Sage Narada, there is a nice little story as well. So one man comes to Tyagaraja. He says, I'm going to go to Kaveri because Triviyara is the banks of Kaveri. So he says, I'm going to Kaveri, hold this book. So he's holding that book and he's waiting for this man to come back and take the book. He's not coming. And then he comes out of the house and kind of comes out, and then he sees, he gets a vision of Narada sort of flying out of, or figuratively speaking. He gets a vision. So he recognizes that the person who gave me the book is Narada. So that's why Tyagaraja revered Narada as his guru. So in that reverence, he had also composed what is called as the Narada Pancharatna. So just like you heard the Ganaraga Pancharatna that we all sang, there are several Pancharatnas that Tyagaraja had done. So the Narada Pancharatna, Divya will.
Shri Narada Muni Guru Raya Shri Narada Muni Guru Raya Shri Narada Muni Guru Raya Kanti Menati Tapamo Guru Raya Shri Narada Muni Guru Raya Kanti Menati Tapamo Guru Raya Shri Narada Muni Guru Raya Kanti Menati Tapamo Guru Raya Shri Narada Muni Guru Raya.
So interestingly, those of you who do Alapana, it is mentioned that Tyagaraja, in honor of his guru Narada, introduced the syllable Narada when you are doing Alapana. So a lot of us do Tadarinana, right? So those syllables, some of those syllables definitely come from Narada. But I would give a little disclaimer. There is another school of thought that says that Tat Hari Ananta is also some people sing that in that sense. So, but apparently Tyagaraja used Narada as the syllable for his Alapana.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
The Ananta that they sing, right?
That's Tanam.
Tanam comes
But it
from
is
that
all
Ananta.
Ananta,
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, totally right. Okay, so know, these are all like his guru parampara and his guru and all that. So now we will move on to some additional. How did Tyagaraja came up and chose Rama as his Ishta Devata? That is something, he could have chosen anything. You may say, okay, his father's name was Rama, mother's name was Sita, so that was the reason. But Sri Upanishad Brahmendra, he was a guru, like a sannyasi, who initiated Tyagaraja into Rama Mantra. So he asked Tyagaraja to chant this. So Tyagaraja has done both of the Ramakrishnananda and so he had done, what's the number? 96 crore. So for those of us who grew up here, that is 960 million japas he had done. So he had and not in his lifetime. He was maybe in his 30s or something that he had done that many japas. So when he did those japa, so he had a vision of Rama. So during this course of Lekdam, you will see a few songs that he had in terms of getting the vision of Rama. So I'm holding on to the vision of Rama because as he progresses, there will be more. So he gets vision of Rama multiple times, by the way. So now he's a young man. He has a family. So the king of Tanjavur invites him to come and sing in the court. And it's a fairly common thing that when musicians go to the court, they will sing the praise of the king, and that is how they earn their living, right? So Tyagaraja pretty much said no. With the same mouth that I'm singing Rama's name, I'm not going to sing any human's praise. So he refused to sing that. So Auntie is going to sing that song, but before that I have, actually why don't you sing and then I will give the story.
Nidhi chala sukhama, Nidhi chala sukhama, Ramuni san Nidhi chala sukhama, Ramuni sannidhi seva sukhama, nijamuga balku manasa nidhi chala sukhama, Ramuni sannidhi seva sukhama, nijamuga balku manasa nidhi chala sukhama.
Very nice, thank you. So this song is definitely one of the turning points in Tyagaraja's life and considered to be one of the masterpieces of his compositions. So interestingly, those of you who know Madurai Mani Iyer, he refused to sing this song in concerts. He said, how can I sing when I'm taking money for this concert? Because that was his living, right? So he said, I will never sing this song in any concert because I'm getting paid for that. So that's just not fair to sing it. And so but the important thing I want to say is not that Madurai Mani Iyer said it, but the reverence that he had for Tyagaraja and the sentiment with which Tyagaraja composed this song, that the reverence is what comes through to me when I hear that story. So Tyagaraja, of course, says no, which means the income is lost. His brother gets extremely upset with this. Tyagaraja is just doing Unchavrutti. He's not making any money. Brother is kind of supporting Tyagaraja's family. and by now he has a wife and a daughter. So brother is like, you get this opportunity, why are you not taking it? And then you are just going after crazily like with about this Rama. So he takes away this Rama Vigraham that Tyagaraja was worshipping and throws it in the Kaveri river. So, and for close to about 3 weeks or so, Tyagaraja is missing his Vigraham. So this is the Vigraham that Tyagaraja worshipped. The picture is from Music Academy Madras. Panchayatana Rama Vigraham, yeah. So I believe the Vigraham is still with one of his disciples' descendants. So anyway, so he, during those time that he did not have Rama's Vigraham, he composed many songs that were pleading, wanting to see Rama, wanting to find Rama, that kind of songs are there. But then he finds, eventually, there are different stories, but the fact is that he finds the story finds the Vigraham in Kaveri river. So he composed, as soon as he saw it, he is just so taken the happiness and everything. So he chose this ragam Bilahari for this song. So you already heard his very first major composition was in Bilahari that Mallika sang. But I want you, especially students of music, to pay attention to how this song compares to that song, because the mood is very different. Sharanya will put on that.
The literal meaning of the line being, today I saw Rama.
కనుకొంటిని శ్రీరాముని నేడు కనుకొంటిని శ్రీరాముని నేడు కనుకొంటిని శ్రీరాముని నేడు కనులారన కామితంబు తీరకను కొంటిని శ్రీరాముని నేడు కనులారన కామితంబు తీరకను కొంటిని శ్రీరాముని నేడు కనులారన కామితంబు తీరకను కొంటిని శ్రీరాముని నేడు కనులారన కామితంబు తీరకను కొంటిని.
Thank you. So this was at least you are hearing for the first time Tyagaraja singing Rama. The second song also, remember I told you he did 960 million japa. So when he came to that point, so the story goes that he was looking out the door and then he saw this young boy at the door. So he recognized him to be Rama, and he sang this song in Ragam Aradhana. Now Aradhana is one of those songs which is kind of very commanding, and Tyagaraja also used Rama as to, there are many songs where he says, why are you showing yourself to so many other people who don't know as much music, who don't worship you, but you are not coming to me, those kind of stories. There are several songs. But in this song, because he sees Rama as a young boy, he uses the word, I believe it's a Telugu word, and I think you say it as Yela, right? Yela. They're like, hey, how you would normally tell a little kid, hey, come here, that kind of stuff. So Tyagaraja uses that kind of tone as like a friend with Rama, and he is kind of, or like an older brother or a parent or something. So you normally use that kind of tone to a good friend or a younger child. So this song in the Ragam Aradhana, Auntie will sing.
బాలకనకమయ చేల సుజన పరిపాలకనకమయ చేల సుజన పరిపాలకనకమయ ధృత సర జాల సుభద కరుణాల బాల గణలీల నవ్యవన మాలికాభరణ ఏలాని దయరాదు పరాకు చేసే వేళ సమయము కాదు ఏలా నీ దయ రాదు పరాకు చేసే వేళ సమయము కాదు.
Very nice. So you get the tone of that song, right? So the next song is also on him getting darshan of Rama, but Tyagaraja is much older. So his daughter is getting married, and as she is getting married, one of Tyagaraja's Sishyas, we will learn the names later, brings him the photo or the drawing of Rama. So Tyagaraja sees that, and then he, because back in the days you don't gift wrap and things like that. If you're giving somebody a picture, you will carry it like how you might have seen Panditji doing it, Bhattaji doing it. So they kind of carry the photo like this and walk. So Tyagaraja kind of feels that Rama is walking towards him. So this is a very popular drawing of that scene. So he visualizes Rama walking towards him, and but I also want you to pay attention how the tone in this song is so much different than the other two that you heard. One was exuberance of seeing Rama, the other one was act as if Rama was a little boy that I'm kind of asking you to come here. And this one, the reverence of Rama walking, and then the tempo of the song also kind of follows the gait of somebody walking. So Malika will sing that.
Vanajanayana chota jeevanamani nenaruna manasu marmamu తెలిసేయే నన్ను నట చివ చేదేవో నా ప్రాణనాథ నన్ను చివ చేదేవో
So in this song you also hear the word Prananatha. In customary in Hindu Indian way, Prananatha is also the husband, right? And so this is at the occasion of his daughter's wedding. So you can interpret it in many ways. So he's saying Rama is my, for lack of better word, the Lord of my life. Or he could also say, take care of my daughter who's getting married. Every parent has that thing happening. So so multiple things are combined in this song. So this next song has been interpreted in so many different ways. Some people think of it as Tyagaraja complaining to Rama about his brother, because remember the brother who threw away the Rama idol? And then, there is a lot of friction. Normally when two families are together, there is a lot of friction. And here is one family which is not bringing in money, the other one has to support, there is even more friction then. So some people interpret this song as Tyagaraja complaining to Rama about his brother, while some people think of it as not the case. Tyagaraja, in spite of all the hardship that they are having, is extremely devoted to his brother. And when his brother is fallen sick, he is actually pleading to Rama to take care of his brother. Because the reason the confusion is because the first word is Anyayamu Seyakura. So that people just read the first line and then kind of interpret it the way they want, right? So here, actually, the later part of the song, he is pleading to Rama to cure his brother. Not only that, he uses the raga kapi for this, which is a very pleading and meditative kind of ragam. So between those two, I think it's more of a case where he is actually asking Rama to take care of his brother. So Auntie will sing that.
అన్యాయము సేయకురా అన్యాయము సేయకురా రామా అన్యాయము సేయకురా రామా అన్యాయము సేయకురా రామా అన్యాయము సేయకురా రామాన్యునిగా చూడకురా రామనన్యాయము సేయకురా రామనన్యునిగా చూడకురా రామనన్యాయము సేయకురా ఆ ఆ
Beautiful. So you understand what I meant by how you cannot use this ragam to complain. It's such a beautiful, soulful ragam. So you possibly cannot be angry with somebody and complain about that person. So you saw a few different aspects of Tyagaraja. So now his compositions, of course, have represented every aspect of bhakti. It's called Navavidha Bhakti. So they're all listed. Listening is one of them. Kirtanam, which is what mostly Tyagaraja did. But through the Kirtanam also, he explained a lot of other things. Scriptures, because he had used so many Vedas, Advaita, everything in his songs. He had brought those in. Pada Sevanam, Archana, Vandana. You can all read all of these as they're singing and listening to them. So this next song, which Divya will be performing, has a very interesting story. This song is in Ragam Ananda Bhairavi and a very popular ragam. So Tyagaraja once went to see this dance drama kind of ballet kind of dance program. So back there was no background music or anything, so people would sing and dance and do those kind of things. So he saw somebody sang Ananda Bhairavi so beautifully. So Tyagaraja at the end of the program said, I am so pleased with your performance. I want to give you something. What can I give you? So that person thinks for a while and then says, I want to ask you, please never sing and do not compose anything in Ananda Bhairavi, because we do not want our performance to be shadowed by your Ananda Bhairavi. So Tyagaraja
It's the opposite.
No, that's it. That's what it is.
they don't want him to compose anymore, because what if he composes something much more brilliant than what they did?
Oh, I realized.
So Tyagaraja agrees. So Tyagaraja does not have too many Ananda Bhairavi compositions, but the few that he has, they are outstanding. That's a whole different story. But so Divya is going to present that.
क्षीरसागर विहार अपरिमित गोरपातक विदारा श्रीराम क्षीरसागर विहारा परिमित घोरपादकविदारा क्रूरजनगणविदारा निगमसञ्चार सुन्दर शरीरा क्रूरजनगणविदारा निगमसञ्चार सुन्दर शरीरा क्षीरसागर विहारा.
So as you probably can figure out that was Kirtanam, singing the glory of Lord. So it has, a lot of different aspects about Rama. So the next, obviously we are not going to do all 9 of them, we will just select a few. So the next one, Sharanya will be performing. This one is in a rare ragam called Amrita Vahini, and Tyagaraja has actually had composed several new ragas. He introduced new ragas. Some of the ragas, probably there is one composition that's Tyagaraja, and that is it. We don't hear anything more. I do not know any other song in this ragam. This song also has a very interesting concept that Tyagaraja used, and I will ask you to listen carefully when Sharanya sings, and if you haven't figured out, I will tell you.
Pop quiz.
Shri Rama Padamani Kripajaluni 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 Chittani Khilave Shri Rama Padamani Kripajaluni Chittani Khilave Shri Rama Padamani Kripajaluni Chittani Khilave Shri Rama Padamani Kripajaluni.
So this is definitely for the children. Did anybody figure out what was going on in that song? That is technically interesting. Yeah, over there, Rishi and Vardhan. Who wants to go?
They feel like the Sahityam matches the Swaram.
Exactly. The concept is called Swaraksharam. Good job. The Sahityam, Pada, Mani, everything is on the Swaraksharam. So in fact, maybe another musician later, inspired by Tyagaraja, composed a whole song, and that is Swaraksharam. We will not hear it today, but I ask you to do the research yourself. So the next concept in the bhakti that we want to highlight is dasyam. Now dasyam is serving the Lord as a servant. So this song is by far one of the most popular Carnatic music songs. You would hear it in concerts, you would hear it little kids singing, middle level kids singing, upper level kids singing, everybody sings this song, right? But I want you to recognize that also this ragam was not all that popular. Tyagaraja was, not too many compositions in that ragam were available, and he kind of introduced that very nicely in this song. And also, not to take away any credit from later day musicians who took Tyagaraja's compositions and added their own sangatis and enhanced it and embellished it so beautifully. And that's the reason why that song is so popular today, and you hear everybody singing that song. And Divya will present that.
ಬಂಟು ರೀತಿ ಕೋಲು ವಿಯವಯ್ಯ ರಾಮ 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 ತುಂಟ ವಿಂಟಿ ವಾರಿ ಮೋದಲೈನ ಮಾದ ತುಂಟ ವಿಂಟಿ ವಾರಿ ಮೋದಲೈನ ಮಾದ ದುಲಗೋಟಿ ನೇಲ ಗುಲ ಜೇಯು ನೀರ ಬಂಟು ರೀತಿ ಕೋಲು ವಿಯವಯ್ಯ ರಾಮ
Nice, thank you. So the Navabhita Bhakti you saw here, it's all listed. Tyagaraja also employed a very interesting way of relating to Rama, something called Ninda Stuti, where he would say, look at you, you can, it's a lot of times mothers do this to children. Like, they will be, oh, he's so bad, he's so this. But then they are actually extremely proud of their child for doing whatever that the child did at that time, right? So that's a very common thing. So, and Tyagaraja does exactly the same thing in many of his compositions. We will highlight this one composition where he uses the ragam Kamboji. And he basically tells Rama that if it was not for Sita, you would not have gotten any of this fame that you got. It was only because of her that you managed to get whatever you got, because she held your hand. Interestingly, this Ragam Kamboji is considered to be feminine Ragam. And that is according to a text called Sangeeta Makaranda ascribed to Narada Muni. So this ragam is Kamboji is included possibly, and this is totally our own interpretation. Otherwise, also Tyagaraja has composed many compositions in Kamboji on Rama. So it's not as if he just saved it only for this composition. But it's an apt choice of ragam. That tells you a lot about the composer's thinking and how they approached each song in spite of having so many songs to their credit, but he managed to choose the right ragam for the right composition, as you have seen in multiple songs so far. So, who's singing? Auntie singing.
महाजानकी चटपटगा महाजानकी चटपटगा महाजानकी चटपटगा महाजानकी चटपटगा महाजानकी चटपटगा महाजानकी चटपटगा महाराजु वैदे वी महाराजु वैदे वी महाजानकी चटपटगा महाराजु वैदे वी महाजानकी चटपटगा.
So, there's quite a few in the audience, you speak Telugu. Did you find any word that was kind of interesting, humorous, that kind of chided Rama for, without Sita you could not have done it? Any word that you can identify?
చెట్టపట్టాలు వేసుకున్నారు.
You normally you won't hear those kind of words in compositions, especially referring to God and things like that, right? And also the chattabatta doesn't sound very poetic or anything like that. So that's another.
I think he gives much importance to ladies here in this.
Sita Rama,
Without
right?
Sita, he could not achieve anything. That is
So we saw all these different. I mean, this is throughout his life. So I want you to also remember that the typical day in Tyagaraja's life would be get up, go to Kaveri, do his snanam and all that, do all the morning prayer rituals that one is supposed to do. He would come home, do his puja. It was, he would spend hours together doing his puja, then go for Unchavrutti, and then he would sing. All that he would do is after lunch, he would come sit outside in Tamil Nadu. Most of the houses have something called thinnai. Thinnai is like a little court in the front. A little, what do you call it? Porch. Right? The porch in the front, and he will just sit there and sing. That's it. And anybody who is going on the road can listen. If somebody wants to stand and write it down, they can do that too. So that's how most of his songs were composed and propagated. This next song, before this next song, so let's say now we have moved on. Tyagaraja lived a nice long life. He is about 70 some years old now. No, this came before. I'm sorry. So among his the amount of work that he had done, he had also composed 3 musical dramas. I forgot to mention that. So the 3 musical dramas, Nauka Charitram. Many of you who are learning music, I know you learned Gandhamu Poyariga. I have heard you sing so many times in Sangeeta Aradhana. So Gandhamu Poyariga is from Nauka Charitram. And the other one is Prahalada Bhakti Vijayam. So Prahalada Bhakti Vijayam, you heard, those of you who were here at the beginning, the Sri Ganapatini that we sang is from Prahalada Bhakti Vijayam. That is his obeisance to Ganesha before doing the rest of the drama. I would love to do this as a project for our music and dance teachers here. That's for a different day. Then there is one more which is not very well known. It's called Sita Rama Vijayam. In fact, the text is not yet available. There are music scholars who are searching for it and looking for it. So we don't know, we don't have any songs on that. But these two are very well known. A lot of people have performed, composed, and worked on it. So now back to Thyagaraja is about 70 years old. He has never left. The only travel that he did was from Thiruvarur to Thiruvayar. He never left, mainly because he did not want to leave his Rama and go anywhere. If you travel, then taking Rama along means you have got to do all the puja, and which was difficult to do when you are traveling, right? So he never left, and there are several compositions where he says, I don't need to go to Punya Tirthas, do all the Ganga Snana, Yamuna Snanam, all of those things. For me, doing Rama Puja is all that is matter. That is my moksha. That's where my moksha lies. So that's how Tyagaraja was so devoted. But remember earlier I said a name, somebody who gave him Mantropadesham, Upanishad Brahman. So he was in Kanchipuram, a 90-some-year-old man. So this is somebody at your Guru Sthana. And he has by now, Tyagaraja is 70 years old, he is already quite famous now in the music circles. So he has heard about this, somebody that he had contact with so early on. So he sends him a little message, not like text message, but he sends a letter saying, please come, I want to hear you. I hear that you have achieved so much in music. I want to hear your music. So now somebody who's 90-some years old, who's like a guru to you, so Tyagaraja cannot say no to him. And Thiruvayar to Kanchipuram is here. So that's a good amount of distance, by the way. In modern day, it will take you probably about 4 or 5 hours, right?
Easily.
Yeah. So Tyagaraja cannot say no, and then he discussing it with many of his students, what to do, how to do Rama Puja, who's going to do Rama Puja and all that. So couple of his students tell him, please do not worry, you have to do this, I know you want to do this, we will do the puja in your stead and we will take care of your Rama. Your Rama is not going to go anywhere, we are not going to not ignore any of the rituals, we will do the puja. So Tyagaraja reluctantly agrees to go. So this is the only travel he had done in his life. So he starts from Tiruvayur, goes to Srirangam is here, right? And then he goes through all of these places and I'm going to describe each one as we go through. So when he is in Srirangam, which is fairly close by, the Srirangam Ranganatha temple, as you know, is one of the biggest and most popular temples in Tamil Nadu. So the Ranganatha temple, when Tyagaraja is visiting, they are having their cart festival. So in that cart festival, and the custom back in those days was, if you're a singer, you go to a temple, you sing. And if you're a composer, you compose. So it's as if you're offering. So normally all of us come to temple with flowers or prasadam or whatever, right? This is their prasadam or their flowers. So Tyagaraja, whenever he went to any temple, he composed. He certainly had composed his birthplace, Thiruvarur Pancharatna. So he composed Srirangam Pancharatna. So Mallika is going to show that one sample of that.
Raju vedare chota murare, Raju vedare chota murare, Kasturi raga Raju vedare chota murare, Kasturi raga Raju vedale chota murare, Kasturi rangaraju 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 vedale chota murare.
So then obviously he visits a few temples. We are not going to talk about sing for every one of those. You see from Tiruvayur, he went to Srirangam, Lalgudi, all of those places. I'm not 100% sure if he did this route or he did that route and came back. So he went to all of these places. Let's keep it that way. So from Srirangam, we are going to jump straight to Kanchipuram. A lot of people think as that Tyagaraja had only composed on Rama and Vishnu, he had not any other compositions. But that's not true. I mean, yes, his Ishta Devata is Rama and he composed a lot on Rama. But when he went to Kanchipuram, remember the person who invited him to come? He was in Kanchipuram, so Tyagaraja has gone there and there he composed not a Pancharatna here in this situation. He composed on Kanchi Kamakshi, he composed on Varadaraja Perumal. So he had done a few assorted compositions, let's say. So this one, because we wanted to highlight to you that he wasn't only about Rama. So Divya will sing a composition on Kamakshi.
Vinayakuni valenu brovave ninu vinavel puleva Rama. Vinayakuni valenu brovave ninu vinavel puleva Rama Vinayakuni valenu brovave ninu vinavel puleva Rama Vinayakuni valenu brovave ninu vinavel puleva Rama Vinayakuni valenu brovave ninu vinavel puleva Rama
So that is Ragam Madhyamavati, and I know several of you have learned one song in Madhyamavati. You always sing in Sangeeta Aradhana, I have heard. Who can tell me? See, the teachers know better than the students. So that's also Madhyamavati. I just wanted, but you feel the difference. This song is like a slow, majestic one. That one is kind of a fast pace. So Tyagaraja from Kanchipuram, he has already traveled quite north, if you think of it, from the Vayara to Kanchipuram. So having come that far, he decides to go to Tirupati also. So he goes to Tirupati temple, of course. So here when he goes in front of Swami, like in many temples, when the Alankaram is happening, the screen is closed. So he beautifully sings this ragam, this song in the very rare ragam called Gauli Pantu, and he sings that. And can you put the next? I want to talk also about this painting. This painting is by another musician who is also an excellent artist, Dr. Rajam, S. Rajam. So he had made it into his life mission to paint different sceneries from that refer to different compositions of Tyagaraja. So this one, tere means screen, curtain. So the curtain is there. So Tyagaraja is going to sing. He did not remove this curtain, and the legend has it that by the time he finished singing, the curtain opened itself. Whether the priest opened it because Alankaram was done, or it opened by itself is anybody's guess. So Sharanya will sing that. No, you. Sorry. I got caught up in the story.
Tirupati Venkata Ramana Masaramanu Teratiyaga Radhaloni Tirupati Venkata Ramana Masaramanu Teratiyaga Radha.
Such a beautiful pleading ragam for, so apt for that song and the wording there. So, because in the interest of time, we may not sing all of the different temples that he went to. The other one that we want to highlight is
We are okay to.
Kovur temple.
You can sing.
Huh?
You can
We
sing.
can- we are here to
We are here to listen. We have all the time.
Thanks, we will make another program.
Yes.
So Kovur Pancharatna. Kovur is near Madras, Chennai. So he had gone, and one of his disciples is from that town. So he invited Tyagaraja to come visit his Kuladevam, as we say in Tamil, Kuladevata in Hindi. So interestingly, I want you to pay attention to this Gopuram. You see how this Gopuram has Tyagaraja because when Tyagaraja visited, he sang Pancharatna Kritis, Kovur is Sundaresh Swami, so Shiva. So Tyagaraja is there along with his disciples. And the disciple who took him there, Valajapeta Venkatramana Bhagavatar, you will see his name soon. So he is also depicted in here. I think that is probably him. So that, I thought that was a very interesting thing that you go to the temple.
Middle long person is there. He, I think.
Oh, you think that is him? That is Valajapeta? Okay. I have not seen, I have not seen an older picture of him, much younger, so I do not know what he looked like. So, but interestingly, the Tyagaraja part that he composed a Pancharatna and the temple builders and management kind of incorporated that into the temple Gopuram is quite something. Right? So Sharanya is going to sing a composition, but before she sings, I'm going to ask you students to pay attention to something. Shambho Mahadeva is a very popular Kovur Pancharatna. This one is in Ragam Karagara Priya. And I want you to compare to any Karagara Priya that you might have learned, Pakala Nalapadi, Ramani Sama Nagaro, any of those things, and see how this song you find to be different than the ones that you have heard or learned.
Shri Ramani Karamo Kovuri Shri Ramani Karamo Kovuri Sundareshwaruni Shri Ramani Karamo Kovuri Sundareshwaruni Kori
So that's as far as his travel and Pancharatnas that he composed. He had, of course, in all the map that you saw, he pretty much composed the Pancharatnas in every town. But we will not sing them. But what I do want to, just want to give you one little story because I thought it was very touching. So when he was in Solingur, there is Narasimha Swami temple. So in the Narasimha Swami temple, apparently when he was traveling, somebody either was bit by a snake or he fell down, got hurt big time. So people had pretty much given up. And apparently the legend has it that he sang, Tyagaraja sang something, and that person was revived.
Healed.
So I just wanted to bring that, there is power to positive thinking that we all should possibly practice. So 24,000 compositions he's known to have, he's supposed to have had, out of which we only have 720 that are available. Now the reason, as I said before, he would just come outside, sit in his porch and sing, right? So his students would quickly scramble and write down the notation and the words and things like that. Because it's never like he sang the same thing twice or thrice or anything like that. He just sang it and moved on to the next composition. So his students, I have even heard stories like, if there are 3 or 4 of them, they will say, you write the first Sangati, I will write the second Sangati, because it's going so fast. So each one will just listen to that one line and write down the notation so that they would have the authentic version of that composition. So 24,000 compositions. The number 24,000 is also very interesting in the sense that Tyagaraja is considered to be an avatar of Valmiki. Valmiki Ramayana also has 24,000 shlokas. So that's, I don't know if how real it is, but nevertheless, we will believe what we read because we haven't seen those. So clearly, richness of composition and the bhakti laden compositions. You may say, okay, so did Ramadasa, so did Purandaradasa, so did everybody, because back in those days, you didn't compose anything other than bhakti. So, but the way his music got propagated over the years, and like I started our this little thing, like them, we are still singing his compositions. So far moved away from even kids that grew up here. It's not like they grew up in India and they have heard it all their life and they are learning and singing. So if anybody tuned in yesterday, there was live telecast from Thiruvayaru, and I don't know, at least 500 musicians, big names, small names, no names. Everybody was sitting together. The big names will get the microphones, other ones will just be sitting, and they all sang the Pancharatna Kritis. Violinists, flutists, ghatam, mridangam, every instrument. And it was one, you might think that it would have been extremely chaotic. Not really. It was very well organized. People were sitting and singing. So, to my knowledge, no other composer has that level of following and reverence. And so that's something that I want to highlight. And of course, like I said, and you also saw some examples, very innovative, new compositions, ideas of Swaraksharam we saw. And if those of you who were listening to Pancharatna, if you thought singing Swaram and all the patterns and Kanaku, doing the Kanaku is something, Pancharatna is full of it. If you want to learn how to sing Swaram, look at one or two of the Pancharatnas, you would pretty much get every possible pattern that you need to get. You may want to get, if you get it. Right? So those are all like the musical ideas that he brought up. So we have a little following of some of his disciples, because that's important. That's how his music has lived on for so long, right? Manambu Chavadi Venkata Subbaya. He was one of Tyagaraja's foremost disciples, who had, these are his students. Each one of them is a doyen in his own right, and those of you who have learned Patnam Subramaniar, you might know, you have learned his Varnams for sure. Sarabha Sastrigal. So here is a picture. So this is Valajapeta Venkatramana Bhagavatar. And this is Krishna Samal Bhagavatar, he is violinist, and then Ramaswamy Bhagavatar is here. So I believe one of them is the son of Venkatramana Bhagavatar, but I'm not 100% sure how that is. So the second one is Valajapeta Venkatramana Bhagavatar, who are in this picture. We did not find as many Sishya Parampara from that tree, so to speak, but he had done an immense service to Tyagaraja. He wrote his biography, he kind of formalized the notations. So many, if we know 720 compositions today of Tyagaraja, majority of the work was done by Valajapeta Venkatramana Bhagavatar. So these two are immensely, we are indebted to them. There is another, these are more, some other disciples. Umayalpuram, that group is a whole different group of students. Some of you may have heard Umayalpuram Sivaraman Mridangist, but they have their own follow through. Tillai Sthanam is another big group. In fact, they are responsible for building a temple for Tyagaraja. So at least they started, and if we know anything about Tyagaraja Aradhana today, they are one of the initial ones who started Tyagaraja. So Veena Kupayers, these are all like later. Subbaraya Shastri, I want to point out, he was son of Shyama Shastri. But interestingly, he had learned from Tyagaraja, he had learned from Dikshitar, and obviously he had learned from his father also. So he is by far the only person who learned from all the three traditions. So that's, he's definitely special. So here is a little tree. So Tyagaraja is here. Sonti Venkatrama, Venkata Subbaya, we heard that before. Maratha court, which is kind of helping them. So Venkata Subbaya, Venkata Ramanaya, Tyagaraja. Tyagaraja seem to have learned from both of them, and Valajapeta, and then so this is like a short, the branches are clearly, as with time, have grown so much. The next slide, you will see some popular musicians that we all have heard of. You see Balamurali Krishna, M.S. Subbulakshmi, K.V. Narayana Swami. So how they all trace. So if you speak to any performing musician, they will tell you, I am the 5th generation Tyagaraja student. I am a 7th generation. I am the 8th generation. So Balamurali obviously is the 4th generation from Tyagaraja. M.S. Subbulakshmi had gone a little bit more, but notice how every one of those have traced back to Malambuchavi. This is the only one that we chose to highlight because that's some popular names here. Patnam Subramaniya, like I said before, so many Varnams. Srinivasa Iyengar, Puchi Srinivasa Iyengar, again Varnams. Ariyakudi Ramanuja Iyengar, important because he pretty much formalized what a concert should look like. So that's why he was, and then from him K.V. Narayana Swami, and then so many others after that. So if I were to trace mine, it would be about 9th generation this thing. But obviously I don't even sing 1% of what Tyagaraja sang, so I will not claim the 9th generation as steadfastly as I should. So those are his heritage. So we are going to move on because time and puja has to start at the temple. So we will not end, we have 2 more compositions. This last composition, so interestingly, Tyagaraja, it's said that he knew when his end was going to come. So apparently he knew that his end was going to come in the next 10 days. So he took sannyasa. Just towards the end of his life, he took sannyasa because our Vedanta tells us that only sannyasis reach moksha. So he took sannyasa just before in those 10 days. And it is also said that he had a vision of seeing Rama standing on a hill. So again, I don't know who the painter is, but I thought it was apt for this slide. So, and the ragam of this composition, again there is some debate whether this is truly his last composition, but most certainly it is one of his last compositions. The reason I chose this one and not the other is because this is in the ragam Sahana, and Sahana was Tyagaraja's one of favorite ragams that he composed. He has several, and it's also a very internal withdrawal kind of ragam, so it's apt for that concept. So auntie will sing that.
Ramuni
గిరిపై ఈ నేల కొన్న రాముని గురి తప్పక కంటి 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 గిరిపై నేల కొన్న రాముని
So I wanted to remember I told you he took sannyasa. He took the name Nada Brahmananda. So what else can he have, right? So he took the name, his sannyasa name is Nada Brahmananda, and because he kind of foresaw that this was coming, he gave clear instructions as to what to be done with his body and everything, so which his students did. Thiruvayaru is considered to be moksha sthalam. So even in those days, lot of sannyasis would go to Thiruvayaru towards the end of their life and give up their life there. So Thyagaraja obviously lived his whole life there and gave up his life there as well. And he had instructed what charities to be done, everything he pretty much took care of. And he passed away in 1847. I just found some of these pictures and I wanted to share with you so that you see. One thing I did not say is that Tyagaraja belonged to the Saurashtra Brahmin family. So the Saurashtra, that means they have come from the north. Tyagaraja, as you know, is Telugu speaking, he was living in Tamil Nadu. So the Saurashtra people, they eventually took all some of the things, and so this Paduka, it's in a temple in Madurai. It's a Saurashtra temple in Madurai, and the Paduka and the two tambura, it is said to be, one is of Tyagaraja, one is of Valajapeta Venkatramana Bhagavata. So both the tamburas, and they worship this, and it's there. So I wanted to, not very often. I had not seen any of these pictures until I did research for this project, so I learned a lot through this.
Okay.
Beautiful collection,
This is the Tyagaraja Aradhana from yesterday. Remember we talked about, yesterday for us, it was today morning, in 18th morning in India, in Thiruvayaru. So the Tyagaraja statue, and then there is also Utsav Murti down there. So Utsav Murti and the actual Murti. So that is there. And this is it. So our last composition that we will be presenting before the Mangalam is, if Tyagaraja was known as the Rama Bhakta, his disciple Manambuchavadi Venkata Subbaiah, right? He was known as Tyagaraja Bhakta. So he had done so much work in terms of propagating his music, and he also composed a song which kind of says, is there anybody who is equivalent to Tyagaraja? Sami ki sariyada.
Swami ki sare yavarana vachu Swami ki sare yavarana vachu Swami ke sare yavarana vachu Swami ke sare yavarana vachu Thyagaraja Sudha Nidhi Chandude Swami ke sare సుధా నిధి చంద్రుడే స్వామికి సరి యౌవరన వచు
Before the Mangalam, I'll give you one last anecdote and then we will end this. So this was in the Ragam Devagandhari, considered to be one of Tyagaraja's most favorite ragams. So clearly his student knew that and he composed it as a tribute in this ragam. So it is also known that Tyagaraja loved this ragam so much that during his travels, he was near Chennai, he was visiting somebody's house, some Mudaliyar his name. So he asked him to sing. You know, you're coming and staying, and if you have Tyagaraja visiting your house, you would obviously want him to sing, right? So he would ask him to sing, and Tyagaraja for 6 days, he gave concerts, not continuously. 6 days he gave concerts, and every concert he sang Devagandhari, different compositions, and each one showing a different aspect of Devagandhari in that concert, in each concert. So that's the depth of knowledge. I mean, as a musician, you know, so far everything that I said, you heard me say things about his compositions and his bhakti and technical aspect. But as a musician, for you to be able to sing 6 days to the same audience, the same ragam, is not easy. You know, sometimes if you sing one ragam correctly in one lifetime, that's good, wonderful, right? So he sang the same ragam for 6 days, and those days concerts were not like nowadays 1 hour, 1.5 hours. You know, if you had a concert, you sat down after dinner at 6:30, and whenever the musician gets up is when you all get up too. So it's entirely on the musician as to when he is done. So for such long time, he sang the same ragam for 6 days is quite a feat as a musician to do, doing Alapana Swaram and all that. So we will end this program today with the Aarti. So Bhattuji or Pandit ji, आप आरती करेंगे? हम लोग गाएंगे, आप आरती करेंगे.
We would like to thank you, Vijaya, for all the thing that you have taken. Thank you so much.
Very useful demonstration for students who are learning.
Very informative.
Yes, I know many of you have done essays on Tyagaraja, right? So here is a lot more information for you. Yeah.
And please do more.